and welcome to Good Nightmare, a podcast where I often don't know the facts of a case until I actually start researching it. I guess that's normal for most people. If you're a fan of unsolved mysteries, you've likely heard of the Voynich Manuscript. I hadn't, until I started going down a Wikipedia rabbit hole late one night. I'm sure all my fellow insomniacs can relate. The Voynich Manuscript is a handwritten and illustrated binding that has been carbon dated to the early 15th century. It's named after Wilfrid Voynich, a Polish book dealer who purchased the manuscript in 1912. There was a cover letter retrieved from the text in 1912 when Voynich purchased it. The letter was dated in the year 1665 and it read, "Reverend and distinguished Sir, Father in Christ, this book, bequeathed to me by an intimate friend, I destined for you, as soon as it came into my possession, for I was convinced that it could be read by no one except yourself. The former owner of this book asked your opinion by letter, copying and sending you a portion of the book from which he believed you would be able to read the remainder. But he at that time refused to send the book itself. To its deciphering he devoted unflagging toil, as is apparent from attempts of his which I send you herewith, and he relinquished hope only with his life. But his toil was in vain, for such sphinxes as these obey no one but their master Kircher. Accept now this token, such as it is and long overdue though it be, of my affection for you, and burst through its bars, if there are any, with your wonted success. Dr. Raphael, a tutor in the Bohemian language to Ferdinand III, then King of Bohemia, told me he said the book belonged to Emperor Rudolph, and that he presented to the bearer who brought him the book 600 ducats. He believed the author was Roger Bacon, the Englishman. On this point, I suspend judgment. It is your place to define for us what view we should take hereon, to whose favour and kindness I unreservedly commit myself and remain, at the command of your reverence, Johannes Marcus Marci, of Kronland, Prague, 19th of August, 1665. The manuscript's place of origin is considered to be northern Italy, and its language is unknown. Some scholars, codebreakers, or fans claim to have identified some of the language as either Latin or High German. Medieval scholars, however, have their doubts. It is suspected to have been previously owned by Roman Emperor Rudolph II, as mentioned in the letter that was kept within its pages, and has changed hands multiple times. It now resides with Yale. The manuscript contains only 240 out of the original 272 pages. It includes sections devoted to herbalism, astrology, biology, cosmology, pharmacology, and includes various recipes. The manuscript is bound in goat skin, apparently not original to the book. Most pages include drawings and diagrams, with the colour for these thought to have been added in the 1600s, a work of ages. Given the nature of the drawings, diagrams, and recipes, it's been suggested that the manuscript was originally used as a pharmacopoeia, addressing medieval and early modern medicine, likely for women's health. There are notes included in the text, written in Latin and High German, though it hasn't been confirmed whether these were part of the original text or if the annotations were added at a much later date. The code of the manuscript has been studied for years, but the text has not yet been decoded or translated. Substitution codes have been ruled out as the repetition of certain characters does not occur as it would in any known language. There is no obvious punctuation throughout the text, though 20 to 25 unique characters have been identified, which would be enough to make up the average alphabet. Some believe that the code is a shorthand, possibly stemming from Latin. Others believe that it may be a vowel-less alphabet, again, written in shorthand. There have been attempts as recent as 2018 to decode the manuscript, where it was thought to be Hebrew, written in an abnormal format. Medieval scholars, however, are skeptical of this translation and believe that the manuscript will never be deciphered. That is, if it was ever meant to be. There is always the chance that at the time of its creation, it was nothing but a hoax. Or perhaps it was made for one person and one person only, and not meant for anyone else to be able to understand. Reprinted high-quality copies of the manuscript are available, complete with artwork. I've been considering buying one for myself, just to have a good look at it. There's no chance that I'd ever even be able to attempt having a go at understanding it, though it does sound like a really inspiring and interesting object to own, even if it is just a reprint. I can't imagine anyone getting their hands on a book that old, unless you're a world-renowned university. The manuscript itself has inspired films, novels, and even symphonies. You can see how something so mysterious would open up a world of ideas. I would love to hear from you if you have a copy of the reprint, or if you've ever read or written a story about the manuscript. Do you think it will ever have a chance of being decoded or its secrets uncovered, or do you feel that maybe it is just all some great big ancient hoax? I'm kind of in two minds. Sometimes I think things are created for the sake of creating them, and not necessarily to serve any particular purpose, except maybe to boggle someone's mind. If you have any ideas or anything you'd like to share, be sure to get in contact with me. You can reach me on social media on Twitter and Instagram at goodnightmare_s, or via email at goodnightmare_s@outlook.com. Thank you so much for listening, and if you have time to rate and review this podcast on iTunes or wherever you like to listen, it would be greatly appreciated. Be sure to stay tuned for a promo from a highly recommended podcast. And until next time, sweet dreams.
Hey guys, I'm Heather.
And I'm Rochelle.
And we're from Nature vs. Narcissism,
a true crime podcast mixed with some dark humor.
Sometimes we have alcohol.
Sometimes we have guests.
Since I've always been fascinated by true crime, I wanted to delve deeper into the criminal mind and discuss why these criminals commit these vile acts.
Was it nature? Was it nurture? Or was it just plain old narcissism?
Join us every week for a brand new episode.
You can find us on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, and Podbean.
Don't call the cops.
Bye.